Some of the most intelligent people I've met struggle the most in business. Not because they lack skill, not because they're lazy, not because they don't work hard enough, but because intelligence creates blind spots, and business is very good at punishing blind spots. This episode is not about intelligence. It's about what happens when intelligence becomes the wrong tool for the job. Because in business, many failures don't come from ignorance. They come from misapplied strength. From using analytical thinking in situations that require judgment. From applying logic where psychology dominates. In the next few minutes, I want to outline why capable, intelligent people often stall. Not because they lack insight, but because they misunderstand the game they're playing. This is not a criticism, it's a reframe. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's a comforting idea many smart people grow up with, that if you think clearly enough, analyze deeply enough, understand the system better than others, things should eventually work out. But business doesn't reward clarity. It rewards timing. It rewards positioning. It rewards decisions made under uncertainty. And this is where intelligence often turns from an asset into a liability. Smart people tend to believe that better thinking will eventually resolve bad situations. Business rarely waits that long. One of the first traps is subtle. Smart people often identify as being smart. Not consciously, but psychologically. Their value in the world has been reinforced for years by being correct, being insightful, seeing what others miss. So when business presents situations that are ambiguous, political, emotionally irrational, there's a quiet resistance. Because these situations can't be solved in the traditional sense. And when intelligence becomes identity, being wrong feels like a threat, not just a mistake. So decisions are delayed, positions are softened, commitment is postponed. Not because the person doesn't know what to do, but because acting without certainty feels like a loss of self. The first psychological trap is this. Smart people overvalue being right. In business, being right too early or too privately is often indistinguishable from being irrelevant. Markets don't reward correctness. Organizations don't reward insight. People reward alignment, timing, and confidence. Many intelligent professionals lose momentum because they wait for perfect information. They hesitate to back imperfect ideas. They underestimate how much outcomes depend on perception. Business is not a debate club. It doesn't ask who has the best argument. It asks who moved first and who others chose to follow. The second trap is one smart people fall into easily, confusing complexity with value. Intelligent minds enjoy nuance. They see edge cases. They resist simplification. But business scales through reduction. The most effective systems are rarely the most elegant. They're the ones people can understand, repeat, and tolerate. Smart people often design over-engineered strategies, overly clever solutions, systems that collapse the moment reality intervenes. Not because they're wrong, but because they're fragile. Business doesn't reward sophistication. It rewards robustness. The third trap is the most dangerous and the least talked about. Smart people often avoid power dynamics. They dislike hierarchy. They distrust authority. They want decisions to be rational, fair, and evidence-based. But business runs on incentives, on status, on leverage. Ignoring power doesn't make it disappear. It only guarantees you won't control it. Many intelligent people are quietly sidelined because they refuse to play political games. They underestimate emotional drivers. They believe competence will speak for itself. Over time, something else happens. Smart people begin to internalize failure incorrectly. They assume, I'm missing something. I need to learn more. I'm not ready yet. So they read more, analyze more, refine endlessly, while others, often less insightful but more decisive, move forward. This creates resentment, then cynicism, then withdrawal. Not because the person lacks ability, but because they never adjusted their relationship to intelligence itself. The goal is not to become less intelligent. The goal is to stop letting intelligence dominate every decision. Strategic people learn to act before certainty arrives, simplify without apologizing, observe power dynamics without moralizing them. They separate thinking from identity. They treat intelligence as a tool, not a personality. And tools are meant to be used, not worshipped. A useful example comes from outside the usual business mythology. William Shockley was one of the inventors of the transistor. He won a Nobel Prize in physics. By any reasonable measure, his intelligence was extraordinary. When Shockley later founded his own semiconductor company, the expectation was obvious. If anyone could build a successful business, it should have been him. But the company failed, not because the technology was weak, and not because the market wasn't ready. It failed because Shockley could not manage people. He distrusted his own employees. He micromanaged obsessively. He believed that intelligence alone should dictate authority. He tested staff for loyalty. He dismissed emotional concerns as irrational. He treated disagreement as incompetence. As a result, his best engineers eventually left. They didn't leave because they were less intelligent. They left because they understood something Shockley didn't: that business is not an extension of the lab. It is a social system. Ironically, those engineers went on to found companies that defined Silicon Valley as we know it today. Shockley was right, intellectually. But business doesn't reward being right when you can't create conditions that allow others to function. His intelligence wasn't the problem. His inability to step outside it was. This channel is not about tactics, or hacks, or motivation. It's about what happens after intelligence stops being enough. It's about how people think under pressure, how ambition distorts judgment, how success quietly creates new constraints. If you've ever felt that working harder didn't move you forward, that insight didn't translate into influence, that intelligence became friction instead of leverage, then you already understand the problem. We'll explore it carefully. Business doesn't reward brilliance. It rewards clarity, timing, and restraint. And those are psychological skills, not intellectual ones. If that perspective is useful to you, you'll find more here.